good, everybody? It's your boy Slot. Man, shit, I ain't tuning in a great minute, but I just came to drop off a quick gems real quick. And I'm probably going to do a quick series called Intro to Spiritual Awakening. And yeah, this is going to be probably the first video I'm going to make on it. So I'm just going to give out a little quick message real quick. All those that might be going through a spiritual awakening right now. I know it meant the most to me. Hearing some of the information I heard during my journey. So I know some people would like to hear it a little bit in the beginning so they're not as confused and they understand it's all part of the plan. So today I'm going to talk about what you call the beginning of the spiritual awakening, which I call the darkness. A lot of people like to tell you spirituality is flowers and, you know, all these nice yoga things you see on social media. And I'm not saying that's not a part of it, but that's the glamored part of spirituality, basically the commercial side of it, but they don't really tell you what it comes with. And often, like I said, it starts off with a darkness. For the first time in your life, often you're now faced with what you call a shadow. You're now becoming consciously aware of the little habits and the little things you do that are holding you back and the little things you do that cause you pain. And what that does is when you first become aware of it, it almost feels like a separate person. Like I said, like a shadow. It's kind of triggering and it seems so accurate, the information, but you don't just quite get it yet. So a lot of people's spiritual awakening starts off to a rocky start, but what I realize is that's a part of it. Because spiritual awakening is you awakening who you are at the core, the true you, not the who you're pretending to be. So a lot of people don't understand things like the ego and things like that. Things like that will become interesting to you once you have a spiritual awakening. Because before the spiritual awakening, you don't really have an idea that you're doing these things. Everyone, like I said, everyone wants to put their best foot forward. So we don't even notice little ways that we, in our fact, are toxic ourselves. So the beginning of the spiritual awakening kicks in with the shadow. You're now hearing this self-conscious voice and feeling over the little things you used to do all the time, but now there's a little inhibition. There's a little, I can't do that. I can't hang out with these people today. My energy not right. I can't hang out with these people today. These are the little signs of, once again, that your shadow is presenting you that certain things you're doing is not beneficial for who you're becoming. It gets to a point of understanding where your spirit, if you're built like that, it's not going to be everybody. It gets to a point in your spirit where once you realize you want to do better for yourself, your higher self, your spirit is listening out for you saying you want to be better. And it's going to take note. But now what's going to happen is shadow self-integration. You're going to now be faced with the parts of yourself that you don't show the world. The parts of the world that you repress in your mind. The parts of the world that nobody knows you as. So everything's going to seem off for a while. That's because you're no longer pretending, or at least your spirit is now showing you what it is, the whole picture. A lot of us are only going with a half picture. When we go in public, we always try to put our best foot forward. But that's, once again, that's a sign of a non-integrated shadow. You're not even aware of your own shadow. But spirituality is becoming aware of your own shadow. And once you see the faces your shadow's making, if that's not who you are at the core, you're going to work on to adjust that. So I just don't want you guys to get overwhelmed when you feel spiritual awakening starts off with slight depression or anxiety. That's all a part of the plan. In fact, it wouldn't have came up if it wasn't there. It's all telling you that it's something you need to deal with, something you need to face to go to that next level. We all want to be rich, millionaires, successful, do all these great things, but the moment these little anxieties and these fears come up, they're coming up to show us, are we currently built for what we're asking for? Because you're not just going to reach your higher self with no work or no realizations. You don't just go from point A to point B. It's a journey in between as well. And then you wake up and then you're at point B. So you got to put in the work. Understand what those fears and what that darkness is trying to tell you. See, the shadows and the darkness is only scary when you don't know what it's capable of. It's too unpredictable to you. And that's what keeps you frozen in your tracks. And in fact, a lot of people, this is where they phase out of spirituality. they're faced with the idea that they're finally responsible for things that goes on in their life. And no, a lot of people, they don't like that. They'd rather religion tell them, school tell them, and all those kind of things. But I wasn't built like that. I wanted to be the author of my own shit. So I'm gonna do my own thing, right? And every one of y'all is capable of doing the same thing. Are you just willing to change your own ways? Are you willing to stop blaming everybody else? Yeah, everyone else has their own problems, but what about your problems? Because if you worked on your problems, see, slowly by slowly, you're already making the world a better place. So let's stop pointing the finger. Let's stop waiting for everybody else to do the work. Start with yourself, and what you start to realize is the work is already being done. You are doing it. The only perspective you have in the world is yours. So if you can enhance your situation, you're enhancing the world. But that was a quick message. I'm gonna try to be more consistent, drop a couple more videos more often, but shit, let me know what y'all think in the comments, and I'm out.